What up, world? It's Vegas Money tuning in. I want to thank, first and foremost, before I get into my video, I want to thank all my subscribers, everybody that watched my videos, from the 25 to the 38K. I was like, God damn, I got 38K. And I'm not monetizing this shit. I don't do this to monetize for them little pennies. I really just try to talk to an audience that got some sense and some real people. And low-key, this therapeutic for me. Was something that I wanted to talk about concerning me. What I'm not going to do is spend 10 to 15 minutes, or however long my videos be, talking about other bloggers and talking about other people that I don't know personally. If I do, it'll be something more so uplifting than beating a person down. And that's just what I'm about. Like, I'm not perfect. And if you know somebody, a couple of my dudes that know me personally fucked me up when they was like, "What's up, P?" in the comments. If you think I'm lying, go scroll through the comments on the video I was addressing King Erner. That's his fucking name. Fucked me up. And them niggas know me. They know me. They know me personally, and they know I was reckless. They know I was wilding, robbing, doing all type of shit. Being in and out of prison, doing all type of crazy shit. Fighting, gang fights, all kind of shit. All kind of shit, man. I'm the last person to glorify it, but I think I'm one of the people that can talk about certain things because I lived it. I got a whole bunch of people dead on my chest, tatted on my chest. It's crazy, but to get into what I wanted to talk about, I really wanted to address elders and people 30 and up turning their nose up at the youth, especially the misguided youth, turning their nose up at some of the things that they do and some of the things that they into, as if we wasn't into them same things, as if we gave them something to look to or to look up to if it wasn't negative or fucked up. And don't get me wrong, I understand the circumstances, and I understand growing up in the hood. We all looked up to drug dealers. We all looked up to the niggas with the nice rides and the niggas with the bad females and the money and all that shit. Me personally, I want to share something with y'all that may help somebody that's going through it, even though I haven't really addressed it myself. So just talking about this is real therapeutic to me. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. And let me take it back. I don't want to give y'all a whole rundown of history, but I'm going to take it back. I was born in Chicago, Cook County Hospital. Never lived there. Actually, I did, but I was too young to know anything about it. A lot of my family stay on the south side. Don't know none of them. But I was born in Chicago. All I can remember is we moved to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I have certain memories in Florida. And then we moved to Arkansas. And after we moved to Arkansas, I was about 10 or 11 when we moved to Cleveland. And just to give y'all a backdrop on while I'm telling you the history of where I live, I'm gonna just skip to Florida. And one of the things that I really wanted to address is resentment. When you have resentment for a person in your family, whether it may be your mother or your father that's addicted to drugs. When you're dealing with resentment and hate for a person that wasn't in your life due to addiction, it can make you sick. And especially if that person haven't addressed to you that they're sorry, and that they didn't mean to hurt you. They don't know what they took you through due to their addiction. And for me, out of 6, I was the youngest. And it kind of, I dealt with it the worst because I always wanted my mother's love. And I never had a mother's love. I never had a father's love. And by me not having a mother, it brings a real strain into the relationships that I've been through. The women that I hurt. The women that I just threw away like they wasn't nothing. I treated like nothing. And I understand that now. And I always had a resentment for my mother. And a lot of y'all are probably wondering why I had a resentment for my mother. Well, growing up in Fort Lauderdale, the years that I was in Florida, Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, I got a lot of family down there. But the years that I lived down there, my mother was addicted to heroin. And one day she left and never came back. And she just never came back. All I knew was the lights was off. Wasn't no food in the house. It was me and my 2 older sisters. 3 older sisters. My brother did 19 years in a prison. My older brother did 19 years. My other brother in and out of prison. He went around. So I was raised by my sisters at that time. But my mother, she left and she never came back. Never came back. And I still to this day don't know the people that came and got us, and we was living with them. And I was a kid. I had to be like 4 or 5. And I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't sleep. I would sit in front of the door, Indian style, hoping my mother walked through the door. And every time somebody would come through the door, I would jump up thinking it was my mom. And she never walked through the door. And psychologically, that'll fuck a person up. Because my mother was the first woman I loved. So when she left me and never came back, the psychological effect that it had on my relationships is crazy. And I didn't even know why I was doing what I was doing to females. I didn't know why I was treating females the way I treated them. I didn't have a clue why I hated women, but I love women. I use them for sex. I use them for money. I use them for anything that I can get, and I'll throw them away like they was gun paper. But I never knew why. I still haven't addressed why I was the way I was. But now I know that it's not right. So I'm working on that. But I haven't fully addressed it. But yeah, my mother never came back. Living with people that I don't even know. And one thing, for the life of me, I couldn't understand why now that no one ever even took me away from the door. Why would you keep letting me run up to strangers thinking it's my mom? Maybe they was sick. I don't even know. I don't even remember what they looked like. I was just remember looking for my mom. So, my grandparents came. No, they sent for us in Arkansas. Forest City, Arkansas, like 45 minutes or so away from Little Rock. They sent for us in Arkansas. And that was the first time in my life I ever felt love. I ever felt unconditional love. My grandmother, my grandfather loved on me. I had to be about 8 at that time. And that's the first time I ever felt love. So soon as I felt love, soon as I felt stable, soon as I felt like I had some type of foundation, my grandfather died. Shortly after that, my grandmother died. So now I'm back at square one as a child. Some people that I never knew, some people that I never met came and got us, which was my first cousins. They came and got me and my two sisters, and we moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. And not to get too deep into that situation, but I hated it. Didn't feel love. Always blamed for something. Felt like the black sheep, the outcast. It was crazy. And to fast forward, they got into some shit. You know, they was using cocaine and using drugs. We ended up moving to Cleveland in 92, 93, maybe 94. And we moved to Cleveland. And still never felt that love. Still never felt that foundation. Still didn't have that foundation of home, love, family, that structure. And I know I'm kind of long with getting to my point, but just bear with me. Still never had that foundation. And we moved to Cleveland. I got to playing sports, and I was good at it. Not starting out, I was good at sports. And playing, Pee Wee, Pop One, or whatever y'all call it in y'all cities or states, but we call it Muni League here in Cleveland. I was good. I was very good, especially on defense, MVP and everything, all the way up into high school. And one of the people that was definitely in my corner for me to make it and do things, he wanted me to box. I was a hell of a boxer as a child. Like, that's what he wanted me to do, but I was a good football player, and I love football more than I did boxing because I don't like getting hit. That's why I'm a counter puncher. Like, you ain't gonna beat on me. Like, I counter everything. And but he wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose football. But he was backing me whatever I wanted. And my Uncle James, shout out to my Uncle James, rest in peace. He died, 9th grade year. Everybody that loved me unconditionally, everybody that loved me or showed me any kind of love left me. And I understand now the psychological effect of when somebody loved me, I pushed them away before something happened. And a lot of relationships I've been in where a female really loved me, I did something. I always did something to push them away or to make them leave or did some crazy shit. And I could love them to death, but I didn't know how to love. For one, I never was showed love without somebody passing away soon as I felt it. Two, I pushed them away. And they didn't understand it, and I didn't understand it. But I'm only saying that to say, even when we look at the youth, I'm not saying that we got to delve into their whole lifestyle, their whole life story. All I'm saying is, before you be so quick to judge, look at some of the things you've been through. Some of the things you made it out of. A lot of people be crackheads, dope heads, all type of shit, and they be quick to judge killers, rapists, all kind of shit. And they'll be some of the most judgmental people. And that's what fucks with me. Like, some of the worst people that you can ever think of, they not living the way they live no more, so they judge the youth. And I only shared that because it's therapeutic for me And I didn't really go into a whole bunch of shit because I know a lot of trolls, and you know, I ain't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the whole purpose of that story was to share with somebody that may be going through something or been through something and still going through it. Find some type of way to oh, that's before I even close, I want to say this. Two things I want to say this. One thing I want to say is, it took for me to sell crack to understand my mother. It took for me to understand my mother. I had to sell crack and be in the streets to understand that it wasn't my mother. It wasn't her true nature that made her out to be the most selfish person on earth. And what type of woman leave their kids in the house with no food, no nothing? It gotta be some type of addiction, some demons, all type of shit. She'd rather leave us than be around us the way she was. But it took for me to sell crack to understand my mother. And not only that, a lot of people look at the young guys that sell crack like they thugs and they just the worst people in society. But I'm gonna say this: when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, when my mother left, them dudes had to be like 15, 16 year old. They had to be like 15, 16 years old. Guess what? They fed us, man. They fed me and my sisters, man. They seen that we was in this house with nothing to eat, no mother, no father. They brought us food, they brought us snacks. They looked out for us to what they know how. So shout out to them niggas. I wish I knew them. It was so long ago. I don't know names. But shout out to them niggas. Them was some real little young dudes, man. They didn't have to. They didn't have to at all. And I'm only saying that to say, for you old heads that's judging the youth and judging people just on the strength because you don't live like that no more, you done got yourself together, you done cleaned up. So what? Let's stop these youth from going through the same shit we went through by our story. With that being said, man, I'm Vegas Money, man. I know I probably, you know, I'm going off the top of this shit. Ain't nothing scripted, but, you know, but shout out to everybody that's subscribed, man. Feel free to share this shit, man, because it's therapeutic for me. I've been through a lot. No, I'm not crying, my nigga. Some shit in my eye. But the shit therapeutic for me, just to get that off my chest. And if anybody that knows somebody that can help me, because I still haven't dealt with it. I'm still going through relationship issues due to my past. I'm 38. But I'm man enough to say and understand that I'm not the type of person that can love on you if I'm not loving you the way you think I should love you, if I'm not paying attention, or if I'm damn, it's a word for it. If I'm introverted. If I'm introverted, or if I'm an introvert, understand that for me, I'm gonna just say this: love is more important. I mean, understanding is first, then love. You can't love a person unless you understand that person. With that being said, I hope y'all get something out of this video. I done went way too long, but I hope y'all get something out of it. Share it. Stop being so judgmental and talk to the youth, man. You'll figure that you have more common than you think if you just talk to them. You might save a life. With that being said, Vegas Money, I'm out.